Alright, this is another MCA 7th grade lesson, and today we're going to talk order of operations with integers. And what we have been doing is adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing integers. That's our positive counting numbers, our whole numbers basically with all their opposites, so negatives as well. So we have to remember our rules for adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing negatives, as well as our order of operations. And our order of operations was parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, subtract. So we want to follow that order when doing these things. So we went over a few examples here. Remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So take care of parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division from left to right, adding and subtracting from left to right. Alright, so first thing we have here is just a bunch of 2's, it looks like. So we've got -2 plus -2 times -2 minus -2 divided by +2. What I showed earlier is sometimes it's helpful to split things up into sections. So we've got -2 plus -2 times -2, and this comes out to a negative times a negative is positive. So +4, 2 times 2. And then we have minus a -2 divided by +2. I have a few ways we could do this. Let's just bring our negative there, minus, drop that down. So that went there, and this went here. Okay, so -2 divided by +2. Regular +2 divided by 2 is just 1. So -2 divided by +2 is -1. Okay, so here's what we have. Alright, so we've got -2 plus +4 minus a -1. Now minus a -1, remember our rule is we can, whenever we subtract, we can add the opposite. So we're going to change it to add the opposite of -1, which is +1. Alright, so -2 plus 4 is +2. I'll drop this down, plus +1, and we know that 2 plus 1 is 3. So there we get 3. So it's a lot of combining our rules with integers, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, and the order in which we do them. Alright, take a look at another example. This one. So we want to simplify each term, and then we're going to combine the terms. So we might want to split this one up again. What we can do right away is drop down the minus sign. Minus, drop down our plus sign. Oops. Go about the same distance there. So those come down, and let's look at what we have here. We've got -3 times 2 minus 4, so we got to do what's inside the parentheses first. 2 minus 4 is -2. Alright, we drop this down, so we're looking at 4 times -2 times -3. -2 times -3. 2 negatives multiplied comes out positive, so it's basically 2 times 3, which is 6. And then we look over here, we've got -3 times -4, positive 12 divided by 2. Alright, so we've got, let's finish this one out. We've got -3 times -2, so positive 6. 2 negatives times each other gives us positive, minus a positive 24, 4 times 6, plus 12 1 divided by 2, positive 6. And we can change subtraction into addition by adding the opposite plus positive 6. Alright, so if we add these two together, positive 6 plus negative 24, we get negative 18. Negative 18 plus a positive 6 is negative 12. So we should get negative 12 for that answer. Alright. Next example. So basically with these, it's just getting used to the process. Basically going over a bunch of different problems. So we'll go over one more here. Right here. And this says, well, maybe we could do one more after this. Negative 2 minus everything on the inside here. So we've got brackets. Now these are not the same as absolute value signs. That came up today. Brackets are like this. They've got a little top and bottom to them. Treat those like parentheses. These are straight lines. These are our absolute values, so anything negative comes out positive. Anything positive stays positive. Whatever inside the brackets, if it's negative, it'll come out negative. If it's positive, it'll come out positive. So absolute values turn everything positive, but brackets are just there for parentheses. They're basically there to say, hey, do this first, or do that, whatever's inside here. Okay, so if we get a negative answer in there, it'll still come out negative. It's not like an absolute value. Okay, so let's do the inside of this first. Negative 3 minus negative 4 times negative 5. So we've got negative 4 times negative 5 is a positive 20. Because a negative times a negative is a positive. Now let's manipulate a little bit here. Negative 2 minus negative 3 plus the opposite. We've got negative 3 plus negative 20. Which is negative 23. So negative 2 minus a negative 23. I'm going to add the opposite again by changing that to addition. Oops. We get negative 2 plus 23, and it should be 21. Okay? Let's see if we want to do that other example. We could. Okay? So remember, we add the opposite. We can do that. We can change subtraction into addition by doing that. Alright, let's do this one. Negative 2 plus 3 times negative 2 minus 3 times 4. So we've got negative 2 plus, here, let's section this one off like we did with the other one. Alright, so negative 2 drops down, plus 3 times negative 2 is a negative 6. Positive times a negative turns into a negative. And we're going to drop this down, so minus. And 2 times positive 4 is a positive 8. So we have negative 2 plus negative 6 minus positive 8. So negative 2 plus negative 6 And I'm going to change our subtraction to addition by adding the opposite. So plus negative 8. And here we go. We've got negative 2 plus negative 6 is negative 8. Plus a negative 8. Should be at negative 16. Okay? Now we had some of these that we went over in class too, but those should be out there. Or they should have been seen in class anyway. I'll see what I have left in my camera. Okay. We can do one from what we did in class. This was a good one. Alright, so we've got negative 3 times negative 5 minus negative 8 divided by 2 plus negative 3. So we want to multiply these. Negative 3 times negative 5 is a positive 15. And we're going to have minus negative 8 divided by 2 is a negative 4 plus a negative 3. And then all we have to do is change our subtraction to addition by adding the opposite. So add the opposite of negative 4 and then plus negative 3. Remember, we like to have addition. Makes things easier. So we've got 15 plus 4, 19 plus negative 3. And these two added together gives you 16. Okay? Actually, we do have time for one more, so let's do that. Just in case you're looking for a little bit extra practice. We're going to get by, we're going to skip this next one, and we're going to do the last one here. Let's do this one. This one was, okay, so I have a little division bar here. I'll rewrite it. 5 minus negative 2 times 5. All over negative 3 times negative 1. Alright, so we simplify top by itself and bottom by itself. So here we have to do multiplying before we do subtracting. So it's going to be 5 minus negative 2 times 5 is a negative 10. And then let's do the bottom two. Negative 3 times negative 1 is a positive 3. Okay? And then we just change our top to addition. Add the opposite. And that's all over 3. So we have 5 plus 10 equals 15 divided by 3, which is 5. Alright, so that should be good. Went over quite a few examples, and we're going to cover and go over the assignment questions tomorrow. So bring those.